to keep moving. Come on, there's a quad jumper over the other side of the space.
There are plenty of familiar things in LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. Its gameplay, puzzles, and basic structure are all well worn, and even some of that trademark goofy LEGO humor is starting to feel a little predictable. But that doesn't mean it's not fun. This game isn't a mold breaker in the same way the superior LEGO Dimensions was, but it is an engaging, fun, and charming title that's well suited for families. It's also goofy enough for adult fans of Star Wars to get a few giggles out of. The game follows the plot of the movie closely, with levels taking place on the desert planet of Jakku, the forests of Takodana, on Starkiller Base, and many more. You can play as dozens of different characters from this movie and other Star Wars films, but for the bulk of your first run through the game's story mode, you'll be in charge of key characters from The Force Awakens such as Rey, Finn, Han Solo, Chewbacca, Poe Dameron, and BB-8. This is a game aimed at young children, so character controls are simple, and with unlimited lives and immediate respawns, there's no real penalty for death. As is standard with the LEGO games, many characters have unique abilities which are used to solve puzzles or access specific areas. None of it is too challenging, but the fun is in the way you'll have to swap between multiple characters to achieve objectives. LEGO games are built for co-op enjoyment, and The Force Awakens is no different. The puzzles are just hard enough that younger players will require adult assistance to solve, making it an ideal game for some outstanding kid and grown-up game sessions. There's also a new mechanic added to puzzle solving, the ability to choose which LEGO structures to build to solve some puzzles, but it adds little to the overall experience. Combat is the weaker half of LEGO Star Wars. Most enemies in the game can be defeated through simple button mashing, save for a few bosses that require some loosely timed QuickTime events to vanquish. There is one new addition to battles here. In some levels, characters can duck behind cover and shoot at enemies, but the game's concessions to a younger audience make this addition challenge-free. Hitting the left trigger automatically targets an enemy, so there's never any need to actually aim. The LEGO formula may be well traveled by now, but it's still a pleasant one to experience, even though a lot of your enjoyment will depend on your affinity with the Star Wars universe. Simple though they might be, I still found delight in many of LEGO's Star Wars levels. It was exciting flying Poe Dameron's X-Wing, for example, dogfighting against waves of TIE fighters amidst chatter from my fellow pilots.
Protecting their troop transports. We can't let them reinforce their ground units. Just point at the ones you want to keep for yourself, Poe.
And while the goofiness in which the LEGO games approach their source material has now become somewhat rote, it still elicited a few laughs from me. There are even several extra levels that expand on the events from the film. For Star Wars fans, these are exciting additions, and it's given more authenticity by the inclusion of nearly the entire cast of The Force Awakens, who recorded new lines of dialogue for the game. It's wonderful if you're a Star Wars completionist, but it's also annoying as these new non-film levels are hard to access. They're locked away until you earn the requisite number of gold bricks within the game, so you're going to need to play a lot of LEGO Star Wars to experience them all. But playing a lot of LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens won't be a chore, especially if you do have a younger partner to take with you on your galactic journey. LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens doesn't really take you to a new galaxy far, far away, but it's still a pleasant journey.
This is a Millennium Falcon. You're Han Solo.